Now, you OG subscribers might remember two cars that I had when I first started this channel, and that would be my supercharged Dodge Viper and my Lamborghini engine powered BMW E60 M5 V10. Now, the biggest regrets I have with those cars is I never took them to the track. There is a really good chance that the Tesla Model Y Performance will be leaving the garage relatively soon. Now, I know you guys are pumped about that, right? Because we're all car enthusiasts and we hate electric cars. However, I'm kind of being forced to sell this car. I am going to do a full update video on that in the next video, but today we are taking the Tesla Model Y Performance to the track. Had to fill out a waiver. Now, don't ask me why, but for some reason I'm very excited to be here with the Tesla, with my little electric SUV. Something that I forgot to mention is when I got to the firm and I was trying to tech this car in, the Tesla Model Y Performance, they actually have a rule about not letting SUVs on the track. So I basically had to sweet talk my way into being able to drive this car, and luckily they let me. I think it's possible we're gonna pass a lot of people. I think people are not really expecting the Tesla to do much out here, but I've got a lot of experience at the firm, and I'll tell you right now, like driving this car on the street, I don't know exactly how it's gonna be on the track, but I think it's gonna be faster than a lot of people think. Now, you guys can see here, really cool at the firm, they actually have a Tesla charger. So between sessions I'll be able to charge, and basically I'll keep an eye on like how the battery is performing. Like on a 20-minute session, I really have no idea like how much battery I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I have a few other questions I really want to find out today also. Number one, what is the experience going to be on track with no noise? Like really no reference of struggling or acceleration or power or, you know, what's going on with the car. It's going to be completely silent. I really have no idea how that's going to feel, but I am really looking forward to that. Two is what it's going to feel like with only one gear. I have no idea. I mean, to not thinking about shifting. Every car I've ever been on track, obviously we're shifting, either using the paddles or manual transmission. So not having to do anything like that here, I'm like really curious about what that is going to be like mentally. They did put me in the fastest group, and while I might be a fast driver, I really don't know what this car is going to be like. I might drop down into some of the slower groups just until I get a feel for the car, but who knows? Maybe I'll just jump right out there with the advanced cars and see if I can keep up with the high-end Porsches, the GT500s, the C8 Z06. You know, we'll see. It will be really fun to see how this car compares. Track mode enabled. And so here I can see a G-force meter, tire pressure, brake temps. Now we're not gonna go crazy here. This is my daily driver. Not a straight. right, we've got some thoughts here. We've got some thoughts. Wow. Wow. I would say a little bit better than expected, actually. I mean, the brakes on this car, not very good. The roads are a little bit wet in some spots, and I was starting to feel the car rotate a little bit, but never like out of control or anything like that. There's like zero feedback in the steering wheels. So it's almost like you're just driving a toy. The acceleration is pretty good. On this track, I wasn't going that fast on the straightaways. You know, I was like to the floor and still maybe like 110, maybe a little bit more. But again, that's because I'm not really that confident in the brakes. They were starting, you could even see it on the screen. They were getting a little bit warm. Right now I can see the brake pads, they're green right now. The battery's green, that means the temperatures are all good. Tires are blue, everything's good. But I was seeing the brakes get to orange, and I was feeling a noticeable difference in the pedal. But really, still fun, so much different than the Alfa Romeo for sure. That car's like crazy raw. You're feeling like every little thing, so many sounds and stuff like this. It was crazy. Like, I didn't miss shifting at all. Like, you know, like I was hearing cars in front of me like downshift and things like that, and I was like, yeah, I don't really care about that. On my G-force meter here, check this out. We've got over a G in all directions. Acceleration, braking, left and right, we're over a G on everything. Wow. Yeah, pretty good. I'll run a session or two more to see what my buddies are doing, but it's not horrible. Like, if you put a tire on this thing and some brakes, I mean, it is heavy. There's no feedback in the steering. It's whatever. It's still fun, but it is a pretty numb driving experience.
You need a louder exhaust. I didn't hear you pull up.
I know, yeah. I can definitely feel the brakes. They're getting very hot. They're in the orange now. All right, so we're at 46% battery, so it looks like we used up about 20% in about 15 minutes or so. Not the greatest efficiency or whatever, but yeah, pretty good. Okay, so the biggest problem here, I think, with this car is the brakes. I mean, 1 or 2 laps in, I was seeing the brake pad temperatures, the brake rotors in the front getting orange, almost into the red, and I was really feeling it in the pedal. I mean, as soon as I was starting to build confidence, you guys saw, like, I was out there with the new Z06, with the Shelby GT350R, the BMW M3. They're fast. They're fast cars. They're faster than me. I will say that if these brakes would hold up, this car has some possibilities, okay? So I think on the race timer, we're already faster than I was in my track S2000, or right there, 124.4. So we're pretty much right there at the S2000, and obviously that car is more fun to drive than this. But I will say, you know, if this car, it just is what it is. The car's fast. It turns pretty well because of the low weight of the car. All the weight is pretty much at the bottom, so it turns pretty well. It's just hard to build the confidence in this car without very good feedback in the steering wheel, and then also with the brakes. With a tire on this car and a real set of brakes, you know, pads and brakes, maybe some brake cooling or something like this, I don't know. Still fun. Still pretty much a G in every direction, which is cool, you know, from a car like this. And again, I wasn't the fastest person out there in the advanced group, but we're like kind of hanging with everyone minus maybe some brake issues. So yeah, I think it's pretty great. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty fun. And the peace of mind driving this car, like not having any weird noises, any weird smells, any weird sounds or anything, like temperatures, like engine temps, oil temp, coolant temp, all that stuff. It's like, I'm looking right here on the screen, and I'll show you guys, it's like everything is in the green. Let me just show you right now. Like, that's my battery temp, the motors, they're in the green, the brake pads and rotors, and again, these pads up here, they were getting into the yellow and orange. And I'm just seeing all my tire temps, my tire pressures, which is great. And then obviously the G-force meter. Charging. Open charge port. Pretty cool to be charging at the track. Okay, so I will say Tesla Model Y performance on track. How was it? It's not horrible. It's not the worst. It is numb feeling. I've said that multiple times in this video. It does feel a little bit numb. It's fast. It is heavy. It definitely heats those brakes up really quick. And that's probably the biggest downside to this car. Is it fun? Yeah, it's pretty fun. Is it more engaging, more fun than a manual transmission car? Well, I was sitting in here. Here's a good comparison. I was in here. I had my heated seat on, had the heated steering wheel, had the AC going. It's just a nice, comfortable, you know, controlled, pretty much lap. No noise, no smells, anything. Went 124 here, okay, right? As compared to the S2000, where I'm like driving at the absolute limit, going off track, sliding around, going crazy for the same time. So, I mean, those cars are more fun. They're more engaging. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, potentially I am being forced to sell this car. So I wanted to bring it to the track before I got rid of it, and I'm gonna fill you guys in on all the details if that goes down. It's not gonna be tomorrow or anything like that. This car really has been like the greatest daily driver imaginable, and I could say that, and I wouldn't be getting rid of it potentially if I didn't have to, and I'll explain more about that later. But anyways, I'm really happy I came. Thanks, Anthony, for setting up the Cars and Coffee. It was great seeing all my friends and all my buddies, getting some more time on track. Another thing about this car is the steering, like the turn to turn, the radius, the turning radius is pretty good here. Like on some of those turns, I was like, wow, I can actually turn sharper than I'm used to. So props to the Model Y. But overall, a pretty numb experience. Fun, but numb. So I don't know, take that for what you guys want. If you do have a Tesla, I definitely recommend trying to track it at least one time. Just make sure you keep an eye on the brake temperature. So maybe swap the fluid, swap the pads. You know, you probably need some cooling if you were going to do it serious. With the tire and some brakes on here, I mean, this car's going to be fast. A sub 120 car out here. I'm confident. If the braking situation would have been handled. But anyways, I'm glad I came. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lots of news coming up. Update video coming up ASAP, okay? Lots to catch you guys up on. Lots going on, lots changing. I don't even want to get into it right now, trust me. But thank you guys so much for watching, subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.